Hello and welcome to the Becoming Mindful podcast. This episode, we want to talk about how to ground, how to stay calm and collected and mindful in hard and overwhelming times like they are today. And I am Maria.
And I am Jackie, and we are Becoming Mindful.
Yeah. So I think for this episode, we probably want to be a little bit more practice heavy. So I think if you want to start us off with a nice practice, that would be awesome, Jackie.
Sure. When we're talking about trying to stay grounded and centered, especially when maybe things are a little chaotic, breathing techniques can be so helpful. And so let's begin with one of those and then we can kind of talk about it afterwards. So wherever you are, find a comfortable seat. If you can, place your feet flat on the ground. You can do this exercise anywhere though. Just take a moment. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you and safe for you right now. Just take a few moments to settle into your seat, to let your mind settle, your breath become calm. Try to let go of whatever you were doing before this podcast and just let your mind settle on your breath. See if you can feel your breath. Notice where you feel the breath the most. Maybe it's in the rise and fall of your belly, or maybe you can feel your breath in your nostrils, a little cooler as you inhale, warm as you exhale. Maybe it's in the back of your throat. See where it is for you today. And just watch it, just feel it. Then we'll move into a very simple breath exercise that is designed for calming and centering. We're going to count our inhales and count our exhales, and we'll slowly extend the length of our exhale. So we'll begin inhaling 4 and exhaling 4, and we'll increase the count of the exhale each round. So exhale fully to prepare, and then take an inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Longest one. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8, Count silently to yourself. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 8. Do a couple more rounds in your own breath, your own count. Wherever you are, finish up your round of breath, and on your next breath, take your inhale for 4 and take the longest, slowest exhale you can. And when you come to the bottom of that exhale, you can release and just pause, come back to natural breath. We'll all meet there. As you pause, notice how you feel. Just let yourself be here. Notice the space you've created. Try not to fill it back up right away. And know that you always have this space available to you. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Come back to the moment. Thank you for joining me in that practice.
Thank you for leading us through the practice. Yeah.
Extended exhales are a really great way to engage the parasympathetic nervous system and reset. So at any time you can come back to that. And a few techniques you could use are in yoga, it's called Ujjayi breathing, where you can constrict the back of your throat slightly and kind of make a ocean sound or Darth Vader sound with your inhales and exhales. And that can slow your exhale for you. And if you like tools with your practice as well, I brought my little necklace here. That's just a little tube. And so take an inhale, and as you exhale, you can exhale through the tube, just to help you control that exhale and make it slower and smaller. So sometimes it's hard to engage that, I guess, patience of slowing your exhale. So sometimes a little tool can help, or a little technique. So yeah, take that with you as you leave the pod today.
Yeah, I really like how a lot of pretty much everything centers on breath. It's like the
Yeah.
one tool that connects everything. Your
Free, and you've always got it.
subconscious. Yes, and you have it with you all the time. It connects so many things. It's so amazing, and it connects you if you focus on it, it connects your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. It
Mhm.
connects you to your body and you to Earth and everyone else. You have the oxygen cycle, right? And
Right.
it's
Right.
very such a cool thing. That's also why it was looked at as such an important piece in, a lot of the Eastern philosophies and religion and practices.
Yeah. In yoga philosophy, it's said that you don't measure your life in years, but in number of breaths. And
Mm.
the idea is to breathe slowly and consciously, and that will bring you longevity.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, I've read something about um, how breath is like really important in a lot of areas and languages too. Just if you think about the word inspiration, for example, means like breathing in, so it comes from inspire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And your breath is a messenger, like as you were saying in the beginning of the podcast, it can tell you what is happening in the current moment if you tap in and see what your breath is doing. If you listen to it, you can understand how your body is responding to the world so much better, and listen to it's kind of like the voice of your body, like your body talking to your mind and being able to tell you how it's responding, what stimulus it's receiving. And vice versa too. We can consciously affect our breath as well, which means we can change our state, like when we do a practice like we just did, and we can engage the parasympathetic nervous system and tell our body that it's okay to calm down and we don't need to be in fight or flight. We can use the breath to bring back some homeostasis between ourselves and our environment and our body and everything.
mhm. Yeah, it's like a very connecting element.
Yeah.
You were just talking about how we can affect our body with the breath, which this is what the practice was about. But yeah, I agree. It's also the brain is also informed by the breath. Also, I think, not only to calm you down, there's so many different applications too. Uh, if you think about getting yourself fired up, like you can do that too, like to
Yeah.
bring yourself into action from kind of like like a morning, like if a wake up thing or something like that. So you impact yourself with in that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It extended exhales in the beginning of the podcast to engage our parasympathetic nervous system. But like you said, for activation, you can focus on the inhale. And there's a number of different techniques to engage the inhale and bring your energy up and liven you. But there's so many ways in our current world that we hinder the breath, like our posture, or when we're sitting at a computer or looking at a screen, our diaphragms become very weak from how we sit. And the diaphragm is so very neglected in in our current society, and it's the muscle of breathing, and we end up compensating and using different muscles for breath, and that restricts our breathing. And when we were talking about how the breath talks to the mind and vice versa, when you're artificially constricted just from posture, that can put you more readily into fight or flight and stress and cortisol. And it's even though it's things are crazy and life is stressful, but sometimes we're just adding to that with not
Mhm.
having open breath.
Yeah, yeah, you're essentially cutting off some of the communication and isolating the parts more again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's the whole. Yeah, I think that leads then to other things like certain coping mechanisms and not dealing with your
Yeah.
emotions because you're not connected to them
Mhm.
much.
Well, I mean, it's the simple thing of when you're upset and take a deep breath. I'm teaching my kid that, and it's just such a basic thing that we all know, but it does. Like if you can stop and pause, take a real
Hmm.
deep breath into your belly, it's going to reset you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to bring you back.
yeah, yeah. And how it's interesting though, are pretty much taught not to feel that, not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think it's a very important to be in that communication with your body and your nervous system. And, it- we've talked about this before, this different layer of intelligence, right? And this right there is that too. Like, yes, you have
Yeah.
your analytical mind, how you can analyze or overanalyze how you're feeling or
Yeah.
how you're how you say how the outside affects you, or you could over worry and you can all those kind of things or deny things, right? But
Hmm.
if you don't access those other intelligences, those somatic intelligences, then you're missing out.
Yeah,
And
completely.
especially in resilience. Because I
Yes.
think practicing the breath helps you practice somatic
Hmm.
connection. And all of those things allow you to be more resilient when there actually is trouble, or when there are events going on in the world that are or worrisome, that you can fall back on, right?
Absolutely. 100%. And learning how to do that and being able to do that when things are really stressful, or say when you're triggered, or when something catastrophic happens in the world, or when you're scared about the state of the world, if you can come back to your breath and breathe and bring that calmness back to your breath, then that's going to, again, come back to your mind and say, okay, I don't need to be in fight or flight right now. And it allows you to be mindful, pause, and find some clarity in the moment rather than being reactive. You can be intentional. Your
Mhm.
breath can be that tool to change your behavior, to change how you respond to things, to change your habits. When you have no control over the chaos of the world, you can have control over your response to it, your
Mhm.
what action you take.
Yeah,
And the breath is the tool for that.
you can get out of being reaction, like a reaction, rather than
Hmm.
like you said, an intentional action. So it lets you be safe, and then from there you can again work with the breath to activate, to do intentional action instead of reaction.
Hmm.
Something that is
Yeah.
actually helpful and kind. Because
Right.
that's another thing. It's like if we're in this fight or flight mode, oftentimes we defend ourselves or things like that.
Which is totally natural. In fight or flight, you're going to protect yourself. Taking that moment to breathe and realizing that you are safe in this situation and you don't need to react in that way, and there are other options. It's so simple. It's such a simple thing to do, but it's not easy. It's very difficult. It's so hard. We all know that, but that's why like things like meditation and practice or yoga, like anything that you can do to practice that skill of coming back to your breath and coming back to your breath and just practicing the habit of being mindful will make it easier in the moment. Not easy, but easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about this before. There's obviously a distinction between it being connecting and ultimately helpful versus being comfortable, right? It's not always comfortable, but that's not the intent.
Right. Yeah.
The whole practice of it is really being more resilient. And if you're not uncomfortable, you can't practice being resilient.
It's so funny because we find comfort in consistency, right? So even if that's being stressed and having tight breath, a tight diaphragm, shallow breath, we get into that comfort pattern. And now that's what feels good for us. So slowing and pausing and taking long breaths can be really challenging and uncomfortable and
Mm-hmm.
not feel good at first, but it's because we can get into these patterns that are ways of getting through the day, right? What we need
Right,
oftentimes, but so you have to create this new pattern and
right.
there's going to be a little friction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a way of getting out of fight or flight so you can
Yep.
actually grow and learn and act, right? Because in fight or flight, you can't. In fight or flight, you only react. But
Mm,
that's okay because that's what it's designed for. If there's a genuine dangerous situation, you need to be in fight or flight and you need to react quickly. If you engage higher brain functions, they're not going to be as quick. So you're not going to stop yourself from falling down the cliff if you have to think about it.
right.
So so there's that. But in our society, there's often a lot of situations that are not immediately dangerous to you, and in those situations, it is very important. And people can spiral into anxiety patterns, and so it's very important that we practice it. But yes, but for the practice, you need to bring yourself out of fight or flight. You need to be safe. And when you do that, then you can practice being with the uncomfortableness of it. And that's what it's gonna be. So interesting. I don't know who said it, but I was just reading something about, the focus on the breath and, if your thoughts drift away and you catch yourself and you gently bring yourself back to the breath. And then I don't know who said it, but it was like saying this moment of where you go away with your thoughts and you catch yourself, that is the practice. Like
Yep.
you're supposed to be caught away or led of
Mm,
thoughts. You're supposed to be led away by your thoughts. And because that is the only moment where you can catch yourself and have that awareness moment where you say, like, oh, and that's the moment, right? That
yep.
leading back and that recognizing. And then the practice is essentially just to recognize that sooner and sooner,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. It's about teaching your brain not to be carried away by whatever thought strolls into your head. That moment is what meditation is. That moment of, oh, I'm thinking. And intentionally bringing your focus back is that's the practice. That's the
That's the
practice.
practice. And if that happens, which it will, that means you're doing it.
Right. And when you meditate, you can come back to your breath 10, 100, a million times, as many times as it happens. That's the practice. That's all we're doing. You don't have to stop your thoughts. You're not trying to get to no thoughts. It's just come back.
No, we
Gently come
can't get
back.
to know thoughts.
Gently
I
come back.
mean, our brain is
Yeah.
designed to have thoughts. Like that's what it does.
And I mean, you can get to a point where they start to become more background noise and they don't
Really?
take you away anymore. They're still there,
Right,
but they're not taking you away from your focus.
right.
And
But they're
yeah,
still
it's
there. Yeah, they're not
right.
gone. Yeah.
I heard an analogy once from my meditation instructor who said, telling your brain not to think is like telling your eyes not to see. If your eyes are open, they're seeing things. There's stimulus coming in, and your brain's going to do the same thing. It's going to be
Hmm.
processing things. It's going to be processing thoughts. So you're not going to turn it off.
But you can decide not to focus on it. You can
Exactly.
decide to have stuff blurry in the background and not focus on
Mm,
it.
yeah.
Or even not even, yeah, and then you can focus on the breath. Yeah.
Which is
And that's
another practice for a chaotic world. All those things are happening, but especially if you have no control over it, there's nothing you need to do in the moment. Practice coming back to yourself and your breath and your grounding, your immediate surroundings, doing practices like if you've heard that, like when you're in chaos and you need to really come back. This is actually a technique for um I think like anxiety and panic attacks as well, is you'll come back to your senses. You come back to what's really around you. So you can name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch,
Here?
3 things you can smell. Like, yeah, you just go through the senses, just naming things around you, because it just brings you back into what's real, what's tangible, what's in front of you. And that's kind of essentially the same practice as meditation, is coming
Yeah.
back to your breath. But
Yeah. No, I love that coming back to senses because now that includes the body scan and the
yep.
grounding, in my opinion, because realistically, we have more than 5 senses. We also have sense, and we have the sense of our body and our organs and everything inside, right? So there's our additional senses to the traditional 5 that we know. I think they even suspect that there's even more, but that's obviously not quite clear yet. But energies and all those things that obviously people know that happens, but it's not scientifically proven, I guess. Let's just say, adding the 2 that we for sure know are there, like gravitational sense and your bodily sense, then there it is. You come back to feeling your body, feeling the grounding to the earth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why that's so important too, because it's a part of coming to your senses as well.
Yeah. It's like the idea too of just walking barefoot outside to come back to that as well. It can be very grounding, very centering. It's all about coming back into your body and into where you are right now, the world, your connection to the world and your connection to yourself. And the breath is a great tool for that. All your senses are a great tool for that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially so, yeah, and connecting to nature. I think
Yeah.
being outside, if possible, or seeing at least a sliver of sky is so important, which is because it's a very easy tool to calm yourself and to get into a mindful state. Just looking,
Mm-hmm.
even just looking at nature and like feeling nature. We've talked about the forest bathing, the Japanese forest bathing before, like just the being part of that cycle and ecosystem of some of nature we are part of,
Yeah.
but like feeling that and experiencing that instead of being somewhere inside where you can't see anything outside or feel anything outside. And it becomes more and more apparent how important that is when you think about when you can't be in nature, can't have when you don't have a window, when you're somewhere where you can't access that connection, and then compare it to when you had once, when you experienced that before. Such a stark difference. And another reason why it's important to practice this, because when you practice, you can go back there. You could go back to that moment as well. It's also kind of an anchor to that moment.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much everything that we're talking about, how to be mindful in chaotic times, is to come back to yourself and remember that you are okay, that you are breathing and you are have everything you need in this specific moment. And then secondly, that you are connected to the world, that you are part of nature, that you are here in this world, so tapping into your breath and your connection with the rest of the world, with nature, with your senses, all of that is going to bring you back centered again when the chaos of the world just tries to steal you away.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually just talking with my daughter the other day. I don't know why it came up. I think it was something about, she can't be alone outside and go in the pool without someone there. Something, I think that's what brought it up. But eventually it led to the point where she said something like that, but, we are never alone. because there's all animals and plants around you all the time.
Aw, I
And
love
I thought
it.
that was so adorable because, yes, you're never alone. You're
That's so
never
sweet.
alone.
I love
I
kids.
know.
Jeez. Oh,
Oh, that really stuck with me. I'm like, oh, you're never alone.
yeah, that's nice. Is that it? Is that why nature's so calming? You just feel, I don't know, we just forget that we are nature. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Like you feel like you're part of something and you're connected. I think it's that isolation we feel if we're not in nature, more isolated. No, I mean, obviously, if you have other people around you, that's also there's connection there. But
Is that what's I think it's a Serbian proverb that says, be humble for you are made of earth, be noble for you are made of stars.
mm,
And it's like, yeah, we're made of stars. We're made of earth. That's what we
right,
are. And you know,
yeah, we're all made of the same stuff, the
yeah.
same elements that are in the universe, and very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, that's another thing. It's like you can remember that cosmic connection and that awe and
Yeah.
the beauty that's everywhere in the smallest thing, in the smallest
Right.
grain of sand.
When you
So,
consider the vastness of everything, every little thing is so incredible that it is.
mm. Oh,
But that's another thing that we lose when we're not mindful, when we're taken away by all this chaos. Like you said, awe and inspiration, all those things reside in the pause, in mindfulness, in the moment. And um
mhm,
yeah, we lose out on that when we're just running around
mhm.
all the time.
Yeah, and if you're spiritual or religious in some kind of way, it also affects you that way. Like the connection to, what you want to call it, divinity or God, resides in the moment, resides
Mm-hmm.
in that pause. Like otherwise you can't feel it. If you're just
Right.
rushing around or just worrying, like and not connecting to the moment and to yourself and the
Mhm.
world and the universe and some people call it God, then that's when you do it. That's when you
Broadly, you could call it connection or interconnectedness or something, like
interconnection. Yeah.
however you define that
Yeah,
or however you
exactly.
express that.
Exactly. However you want to experience that. That's right. And something that is really at the center of it.
Mm.
Again, that this all it's all connected, right? It's all connected. Because
Yeah.
resilience is connected with the ability to experience awe and beauty in the world.
Yeah. And all those practices we're talking about are reminding you that you're connected. Feeling
Mhm.
your breath is this connection to the world, to your body. Your senses are your connection to the whole world. We need to come back to that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's reminding you of what's natural. What are you made
Yeah.
for? What your body is. This is how your body works and use
Uh-huh.
it. Very important.
So let's wrap up with a little breath focused meditation. This is my style of meditation, Shamatha Vipassana, and we'll just do a quick little practice. And if you have time wherever you are, you can sit and continue this meditation for as long as you want. But we'll take a mini practice here. So find a comfortable seat wherever you are. Um, If you're sitting in a chair, try to sit away from the back so you've got an erect spine. You're sitting up straight. You can close your eyes if it's comfortable for you, or take a soft gaze if you prefer. Wherever you are, just let your shoulders relax down your back. Let yourself sink into your seat. And with a strong back, Let your belly soften. Let the area around your heart soften. Let your front body be open. And as you settle here, let the muscles of your face soften. Let your jaw soften. The area between your eyes. Place your awareness on your breath. Notice where you feel it. And keep your awareness there as you breathe naturally. Feel your inhale. Feel your exhale. As you breathe, your mind will continue to make thoughts. No problem. Just let them fade into the background while keeping your awareness on the breath. If at any point you notice that your mind and your awareness have been taken away from your breath on a thought, notice and label that as thinking. I'm thinking. And then gently let it go and kindly return your awareness back to your breath. You can do this as many times as you need. Continue to let your breath be soft. As your mind wanders, gently bring it back and begin again. We'll sit silently for one more minute. If you have the time, I invite you to sit here and continue your meditation. If not, you can conclude your meditation by opening your eye, coming back into the moment. Thank you so much for joining us for that practice and for the pod.
Thank you. Everyone will leave you with this today and hope to see you again next time.
Be well.